I really believe that you're going to let people vote. If the timing is bad, I'd like to say that the timing was really bad in 2017 when voters came to the support of the county, when we did that 1% sales tax initiative, when this building was closed 2 out of 5 days a week. And at the same time, voted for a 0.5-cent sales tax initiative for the district attorney's office because times were bad. This is a good time to vote. So for those who feel anecdotally that it's not a good time, I disagree with the data. So I just want to say, at the end of the day, if safety concerns are on your mind and the sheriff's office wanted to come forward with an initiative, haven't heard about it, they have till August 4th. This is the last meeting. Your next meeting is August 5th. So it's not even plausible by state statute for it to get on the ballot initiative. So, with that being said, for money you invest in kids, that means less money has to be invested into this jail. And I think at the end of the day, when you're no longer sitting in those seats, you want to say that you gave people the opportunity to vote on kids' safety versus to vote on jail money. Which is more important, keeping them out of jail or providing money for the jail? I think the option is clear, and it's no sweat off your back. If you vote yes to allow the people to vote on this, all you're doing is giving them opportunity. And then you look like the good guys for being supportive of our youth. If you vote no because of speculation, what does that say about this body? I need a body that's going to be forward-thinking and hopeful. Not. Thank you very much. I have Mr. Pat Walsh here to entertain any questions.
I do have a couple of questions.
Please come on, Mr. Walsh.
In the draft of your ballot measure, by the way, your speculations always it is just that, speculation. Show Los Angeles County taxes being increased by $300,000 annually, including any number of excess of $300,000. So you're telling the voters that anything above and beyond $300,000 should still be collected. Are you asking the voters to go above and beyond, or am I reading this improperly?
I chose to elect that language so that way if there was any issues with Tabor and debrucing, that it is already put in there. So that way we don't have another situation like that occurred back in 2017 when an excess of monies was collected and therefore you had to go back to the voters to approve in order to spend that in your general funds.
So you're asking the voters for an open check, and when I look at the actual dollars that were calculated based on the 0.25 that you are quoting on your ballot measure, I don't think the numbers calculate exactly to. It could be greater than the $300,000. So just for the record, as you mentioned earlier, I want to be able to understand that you're telling the voters that you're asking them for $300,000 or $500,000. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think that's an assumption for you to state, sir. I think it's $300,000 or more. That's, I think, the proper way to state this. Because, let's be honest, sales tax dollars fluctuate. The numbers that I'm basing this off of is a blend from 2023 and 2021 to 2023 based off of your recommendation because I could not get the ballot number or the sales tax numbers from 2024 because they're not completely approved through the audit process. So that is the basis for these numbers.
Well, it is. When we go through an audit, we cannot expedite the audit. That's based on the auditor. So the numbers for the current fiscal year, the audited numbers, were, of course, due when they're due, when the auditors finish their work with the county. But I think, my question here, that's one of the, to me, that is, you're basically not telling the voters, we're only going to collect $300,000 and anything else beyond that is going to be refunded. Your ballot initiative reads, including any numbers in excess of.
Correct.
What if those numbers are $700,000?
Then it's just the 0.25% of whatever the sales tax is for that particular year, which we both know fluctuates year to year.
So that's one thing that I need a clarification just on that.
Sure,
so let me move on to the next one. Children's 5 to 18. And in one of your respective on one of the paragraphs, and I'm going to yield the floor here in a second. My question, it is, you're also serving children from Colfax County and Wortham counties.
Do we have any kids from Colfax County or Wortham County?
We have some, we do not have any kids from Colfax County to my knowledge.
On one of the grants that you wrote, you put in there the population of the Trinidad Youth Club serves rural. This includes Las Animas County, Wortham County, and into Colfax County. These communities are at risk, impoverished, so on and so forth. The staff at TYC are very passionate about the healthy habits, so on and so forth. You go into the whole thing, but you do mention in one of the grants writing on language here in the paragraph that this also goes to the Las Animas County, Wortham County, and so in Colfax County. So my clarification here is, should Las Animas County taxpayers contribute to provide services outside of the county?
We go to those counties for our program, but we don't serve kids living in those counties.
Explain that just a little.
So we go, for instance, we go to Captain Volcano. We go to Vermejo Ranch. We've gone to the Boy Scout Museum. We go to those places. We've also gone to Cuchara. We've gone to Lathrop Reservoir. And we go to those places with our kids, but the kids enrolled at the youth club are from this county.
Thank you. For now, let me go ahead and yield the floor. But you had also a presentation as well, sir. You wanted to add on to what Mr. Lopez mentioned?
Other than that, I think what the youth club is doing in terms of serving kids, both in our in-school program and our after-school program, we are a year-round program. We serve, of the 1,645 kids, kindergarten through high school, we serve right now in our current programming about 11.5% of that total number in all of our programming for the calendar year.
So if this is going to be a county-wide ballot initiative, do you have the inventory? And I didn't see that of students being served from Pueblo, from Aguilar, from Romero, and from the eastern part of the county?
Yes, we have kids that are busing go to those schools, and we also reach out to Primero. We also reach out to Honey, and we do programs for those schools. We do HTA, we do Gold Academy, and those students come from a variety of places throughout the county. Some live in the county, some live in the city.
And there's also
and this year and there's homeschool kids. We serve about this year our programming, and our programming changes. Kids move around and they go to different schools. This year, about 11.5% of the 1,600 is what we served in all of our programs. 2 years ago, that number was higher because I had programs at the high school. We had more programs in the schools, and so we obviously were serving more kids during those years.
The only couple of comments that I have, I think the dilemma that you guys are facing in cuts, the counties are facing on a bigger scale.
Sure.
With budget cuts coming down. As Commissioner has said in the meeting, we've already talked about having to put a sales tax on. If a number of the unfunded mandates come to fruition, especially with the jail standards, we won't know that for a few months yet. And I think, I'm not sure on this, but I think if we put a sales tax on for you guys, then our hands are tied because we can't put one on if we needed something for the jail till 2027, I guess.
Why is that, sir? What statute states that you can't put another one on at the same time?
I'm getting my information. Isn't that Bill, is that what you had said?
I believe the sales tax can only be entered into on odd years to put in front of.
So with that being said, have you been entertained by another entity to put on a sales tax for this odd year?
Not
Not this year, so then we're the only one. So then I think that makes sense then that we would have to wait till 2027 regardless.
And then my other concern is, if we start entertaining for nonprofit organizations on here, I mean, there's a possibility we could have a number of nonprofits come before this board requesting sales tax.
Sure, and all we're asking is for you to let the people decide.
Well,
That's all.
and,
That's all.
you know.
Please, let me finish though. You have a couple of letters that have been sent to Mr. Dorenkamp too that have not been read into the record as well because he made his comment earlier that he doesn't want to set the precedent for things being, biased from his desk.
No, that's not biased.
Not biased, I'm sorry, you
What
misphrased.
I said is I don't want to start a practice of where any letter of support from any nonprofit is read into the record.
Okay, then I misspoke, I apologize.
That's fine.
But we have letters. Can you state who they're from, sir?
One was from former Mayor Rico, and I do not recall who the other one is because, as I said, I don't know what happened to the email. I did see it yesterday.
Okay.
Well, then here is one thing, going back to that comment, Mr. Dorenkamp. We do have the flexibility of Zoom, which, by the way, and giving the opportunity for public comment, the flexibility is there for anyone to join for just a moment, read their document, and so on and so forth. But in the inception of the TYC, what's my understanding that within a few years of opening the facility, the Boys and Girls Club of America was going to be taking over?
No, that was the hope. They changed their strategic plan. So when I initially started going to the one in Santa Fe, I spoke with Ronan Abeta. He was their CEO over there, and I spoke with other people at the state and national level. They could take on another club under their umbrella. But then their strategic plan changed, and they decided that they were going to make other clubs be under the umbrella of, or new clubs under old clubs. So we went to the San Luis Valley Boys and Girls Club of America twice. We went to the Pueblo Boys and Girls Club of America 3 times. And we asked them every other year because things had changed. They were taking on a new clubhouse in Pueblo, so we went back to the San Luis Valley. They had an issue with a club in Center, Colorado, who started using their moniker erroneously, and they were gun shy. And then other issues back and forth, but we continued to try. And after being told no so many times, we decided let's just go it on our own.
Have you tried that lately? I know there is, that's one of the entities.
Sure, we have. We asked Aaron Miltenberger, who's the CEO of the San Luis Valley Youth Club, if that opportunity was available again, and they were going through a transition right now. In fact, now there's co-CEOs over there. So timing was not appropriate for them.
And I want to just, let me, Commissioner Haas, do you have any comments, any questions?
I do have a question. In the last presentation, Mr. Lopez, you said that the county was not your last resort, and my understanding is through your presentation, COG said no, the city said no, and how come you didn't go out to the public 6 months ago and start the signature gathering procedure to see if you did have that support
Sure.
to move forward?
Well, I made a request to the clerk and recorder's office back in February. You're absolutely right. And the information that I was told was that I did not need to have a signature petition, that I needed to just come and make a request to the county commissioners. And then as time got closer, I was talking with Ms. Apple along with Mr. Felix Lopez here, and she informed us on a joint phone call that the time frame for us to do this had already passed by. There's 180 days that needed to be, a request had to be submitted, if not done by the county commissioners, who could do it up to the day before. So, with that being said, that is the reasoning why.
Well, the Commissioner has pardon the interruption here, but there is a citizen initiative that could have taken place. In your conversation, it might be got no more than probably about a month ago.
It was in May, I believe, because she said that I had just missed the date.
Well,
Maybe at the end of May, but it was.
yeah, and then you and I both had a conversation from the clerk's office.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. So, at the end of the day, go ahead. Back to you, Commissioner Haas.
No, that's the only question that I had that I didn't. I had many comments last meeting, and I'm going to yield the floor to you guys.
But
So-
that is an option.
It was an option, but when I made my inquiry, I was told something different. So that's the whole reason why. I mean, well, you guys know me. I show up with my T's crossed and my I's dotted. If I could have done this through an initiative through the signatures, I would have started back in February. We have minutes from our meetings when I was discussing this even last fall. I'm not going to mess something up like this. I'm basing this off of the information that I was given from the clerk of recorder's office. So, with that being said,
Well,
you all have an opportunity now today to allow this to go to the voters. And if you choose not to, because of speculations about how things are going to be,
Let's not get into this whole conversation on the speculation, but two things, for me, your ballot initiative, once again, is not clear on the first sentence, $300,000 and any additional number. Because that to me, when I'm a voter, I'm actually going to be looking at, well, what exactly does that mean? What if this 0.25% of the tax yields $420,000? Is that what we're telling the taxpayers, that we're going to keep whatever excess is in there? I just don't find that to be the exact language that needs to be sent out to the board. That's my question. That's where I'm having a bit of a gray area. I've looked at finances. I actually have done a couple of calculations in there. And if we're going to be going to the borders, one of the things that's happening here, Mr. Lopez, is working back and forth with the state and the federal government. And so when we look at numbers, the accuracy, going to the borders, we cannot tax our borders into oblivion. And we understand that all of us are paying, life is a bit tough. But that to me, that one particular sentence is challenging me. It is not, I tell you one thing, if anybody supports, I support boys and girls activities, and I have always done that. I spent my entire career in higher education, sponsoring, promoting, doing. I just want us to be solely transparent and very accurate on that particular statement, and it's not there because the language. Once again, let me go back to it. Show the San Luis County taxes being increased by $300,000 annually, including any number in excess of $300,000. So what happens, that right there nullifies anything if we go to the borders and say, would you help us with $300,000 to fund? However, if we were to collect $500,000, we also want to keep that additional $200,000. That's what I personally, as someone that plays with numbers, that I have a bit of just not able to reconcile that particular statement, the first one, because I think it negates the $300,000.
so the language that we have used is based off of other tax initiatives that have gone to the ballot.
Well, and again, I don't know that, I don't write this kind of language. I'm a voter.
But you're very quite clear that you know how this is.
It reads.
Sure. And it says anything in excess would go also to the youth club.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So if we have a good year, more than $300,000 will go to the youth club. If it's a bad year, a minimum of $300,000 will go to the youth club. So that gives us opportunities to keep on additional staff. It gives us opportunities to have more food for our kids, more programming. It covers our insurance. It covers a plethora of different expenditures that go on. Now, again, we offered to go in with the Council of Governments Early Learning Center. This would not have been just a one entity utilizing these funds. But they selected not to go with us. So, with that being said, we left the numbers where they are.
Yes.
Now, what would you recommend then for any kinds of changes in
I'm
your...
not an attorney nor...
Well, then I think you should allow us to let the people decide if this is...
I'm not here to make recommendations. The only thing is that I'm looking at as a voter that actually tells me these perhaps to be out of the scope. Mr. Dorica.
Commissioner, if I can chime in, one of the things that concerns me, and Commissioner Lucero touched upon it a bit, there is a precedence similar to asking county staff to read outside letters of support into the record. Hypothetically, if the board, in my opinion, if the board does approve taking this ballot measure to the public, how is the board going to react when the next nonprofit comes and asks for the board to do the same thing? Even if it's a nonprofit that the board may not necessarily agree with what that nonprofit's work does. In my opinion, you've set a precedent by doing this if you approve this. And I'm not saying not to, just please consider this. The next one that comes along you may not agree with, would they have grounds to take the county to court and sue for discrimination? Because you support or took the ballot measure for one nonprofit, but you didn't take the ballot measure for the next nonprofit and carry the water. So, in my opinion, I think that's something that the board really needs to consider saying, not identical, but saying to asking county staff to read letters of support into the record as someone else's opinion.
Thank you. I want to also highlight a couple of comments that we heard from Mr. Eric, and that there's not any funding being withheld for CCAP at this point in time. So keep applying for those funds. I mean, they're still open.
We utilize that currently.
And so, from that perspective, that would be my question there, Mr. Lopez, and both of you.
You know the CCAP hasn't paid us yet. They're in arrears. We haven't been receiving money for the past couple of months.
Well,
So it's a great thing to say we apply for CCAP and we're recognized by it, but to actually get the money in the bank is another topic.
okay.
So I hear you, and we do utilize those services, and you're absolutely right. Everything that you're saying, we're doing. We're already trying to take advantage of every single opportunity we have for these kids. Now, to Mr. Derenkamp's point, if another opportunity from another organization comes forward and they're just asking you to let the voters decide, then let the voters decide.
Well, and again,
If you want to keep this away from voters, I feel that's sad, because that's not being
Well,
done.
you have the opportunity to take it before the voters and to get that signature ballot. Don't try to play the game like that, Carlos.
It's not a game, sir. It's not a game. I'm sorry. I followed the proper channels on how I could have initiated this to begin with, and I was not told correctly. I was told to come before the county commissioners from the clerk and recorder's office.
well, and again, that's I'm not going to play the
Sure.
hearsay because that is going to be inadmissible. But at the end of the day, we do know that there are other opportunities, as Commissioner Tony Haas says. If the voters really wanted to, let me tell you what really would happen on that particular case. You go to the voters, you have the signatures. Guess what happens? It's a yes.
And if you vote yes and they vote yes, then it's a yes. I don't understand why you're so tepid to allow this to go through.
No.
So the voters.
I
mean, we have a full, not full, but we have a lot of people here
Oh, yeah,
in
I
support of this
understand that.
that want to be allowed to vote.
And that is part of what we do, is to allow the opportunity to receive feedback. It is great. As someone that has done numbers all my life, that first sentence, you cannot translate that to my terms. Basically what you're saying is
But you
that
said you're not an attorney who deals with this.
I don't. I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm a voter.
Right.
I'm a voter.
And these voters here also believe in this language.
Well, I just...
I don't, Commissioner, I don't believe we're getting anywhere now. We're kind of running in circles, and I've got a meeting, you talk about supporting your youth. I'm here at the Pueblo Community College, and I'm going to do a presentation on suicide prevention, and especially in rural Colorado, and it starts in about 15 minutes. I would like to move on with the vote.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
I want to thank you both, and I want to thank all of you for coming before this board. And again, this is, commissioners, do you feel the need for executive session at this time?
You know, Mr. Lucero, you said you commend us for our efforts. If you commend us, vote yes, please. All of you.
Can I make a comment?
No, ma'am. We have already closed. Executive session? Or are you fellow commissioners, ready to go to the vote? Okay, so at this time, I am going to then entertain a motion, consideration of sales tax measures. I will entertain a motion.
I will move to deny the consideration of the sales tax measure.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Searle,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes, and I want to very clearly state, to me, that's the language, so thank you. And at this point in time, there is no other items on this particular agenda. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Searle,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.